Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome. All right. Just checking out, making sure that where YouTube is getting going. And I am Patty. I'm going to be here doing your talk about the full moon in Pisces. September 10th is when that's going to happen, only a couple of days away. So, are you feeling the energies? Probably not quite as much as we would on the other full moons because it's going to be more on the backside of feeling those energies within the next 6 days of the full moon. However, we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about Mars actually slowing down for getting into a retrograde next month because this is really key. And then also, too, we're going to be in Mercury retrograde again. So, we're going to talk about that today. It's the full moon. I will go into a little bit of the astrology part, maybe what's happening in your energies, your feelings there. And then we're going to go ahead and go into a reading. If you are watching this at any time, please don't hesitate to leave a comment if you enjoyed this. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'm an intuitive and I do transformation coaching as well, but more spiritual. I do have another channel called Get Balance 2020 with about 70 or 80 videos to help you in balancing your life through spirit, mind, and body. So go back and watch those, or you can go to divinewarriorintuitive.com and see if you would like to book a reading or if you just need a coaching session or whatever. All right, so let's get started. Full moon, the 10th, you guys. We are going to be doing a lot of things this month. It all started around the 4th. Okay, so that's when Venus went into Virgo. There's a lot of little like detachment issues going on there, things that maybe you're thinking about, that kind of a thing. Now, on the 9th is when Mercury goes into retrograde. It is all month. It's going to do that. And what's really interesting about this retrograde, this is the third phase it goes through. Usually retrogrades go once a year, that kind of a thing. This time Mercury went 3 different times. So you sort of have to look at Mercury in a pendulum form this time because it went from Virgo. It started out in, hey, Felix, welcome. Nice to see you too. It went from Virgo. So you started out in Virgo in a retrograde, and then it went direct and it went into Libra. And then it went back, and then it's going to go into Virgo and go back. So it's sort of this pendulum swinging action retrograde. Why is that so important? Because there's a couple things going on with this retrograde with other planets. So the other thing is too, it ends a very big cycle for these 3 times for Mercury to go into retrograde. All right. This isn't a normal process for Mercury. It's usually once a year. So what happens when that swinging action going, it's like you're having a hard time trying to find balance. Okay. It's trying to be fair to yourself, being fair to others. But there's this like push me, pull me kind of thing going on where you just are not quite as efficient as you should be or where you think you should be. I got a spot on my glasses. Um, and so you're not as efficient in your thinking, your doing, your planning, that kind of a thing as much. Now, a lot of people think that Mercury is a very negative. It does have a lot to do with communication and energies. Mercury's not negative, it's how you actually perceive the way that you are thinking forward. So, a lot of the times we get our miscommunication, which Mercury's all about communication. If we get distracted or we get, what do you call it? We don't think things through or we don't pay attention or we sort of got one ear on what somebody's saying and the other ear is in our head and our thoughts. So you're halfway listening. So one of the things about this Mercury retrograde, one of the things that you'll want to focus in on is trying to be due diligent to focus in on what that person is saying. Because along with Mercury retrograde, we got some other things going on I'll share with you in a minute. Because whenever we have a retrograde, for those of you that really don't study astrology but want to know a little bit more why things are, the retrogrades are really, really important because that is when the planet slows down to the slowest it possibly, it like moves just a few degrees. and that's it. So what happens when that planet slows down? Like Mars is getting ready to go into a retrograde in October, and Mars is a very fast moving planet. Okay, very fast moving planet. But when it slows down, it becomes more powerful. And what happens when that becomes more powerful is the energies are more intense. And why is it more powerful? Because it's the closest to the earth that it will ever be. So that's what happens. So when they turn around and go direct, then it begins to go further out, and then they begin to speed up. So those energies sort of fade away. So that's why when astrologers look at their charts, they're looking at not only one thing that is happening, but all the other things around it within a few days or even within the month. And, some of the predictions are pretty accurate. However, it all just depends on where the planets are. So the negative part, I even did a video, I think when I first started doing Get Balanced 2020. I think I did it on Get Balanced 20. Maybe it was on Divine Warrior. But anyway, it was a video about how the Mercury retrograde responds and acts and things like that. But you got to understand that it is not, those energies of the Mercury retrograde are not by themselves. Let me put it that way. It's what planets it's conjuncting with, it's what planets it's working with, what planets it's fighting against, what planet it's like quincunxing and trines and squares and half squares and all these other things, what it's doing around that, what sign it's in. Because as like Mars retrograde, it can go through all the signs within 7 weeks, which is about 2 months. But when it comes to this Mars retrograde, it's going to take, I think, how many months did that say? 7 to 8 months to move through one sign. So you got to realize, look at how slow Mars moves. So I'll share with you here in a second. So when we move into this Mercury retrograde on the 9th, just start thinking and be proactive in your listening, paying attention, and how you're moving forward with the way you communicate. Is it coming across the way that you want it to? Sometimes, like for me, gosh, sometimes my words come out and they say, wow, that was sort of mean and I'm rude. And I'm like, really? But I wasn't thinking that, but maybe my mind was going into things and it came out that way. So being really, really mindful before you speak, how you are going to say it, what you're going to say, and when is it the right timing. Okay, then we get into our intuition there. Is this the right timing to say that? And are you walking in truth and love? Okay, we're going to go into that in a minute. So definitely want to think about that. And thinking about having that ready. Because with this full moon in Pisces, this is a full moon in Pisces to move forward. This is a thing to move forward, but it's going to be a struggle because some people are not patient. So we are moving forward, but we're not moving the pace that you want to move it to. You want to do it right away. However, a lot of people are that way, whether what sign you are. This is the way that the world is going now. It's like, I want it now. It's a me, me, me kind of a thing. However, with this moon in Pisces, with the Mercury retrograde, with the Mars retrograde starting to slow down, it's not going to happen until October 30th, but this is really, really a key point to pay attention to because Mars is interacting with the moon and everything that is going on. Okay, and I'll talk about that next. So definitely about that. I want to make sure I don't miss anything else. So, and also too, with this full moon, full moon or new moon, this is when things intensify. And the way that you have to look at it, especially if you're new to my channel, is you have to look at the new moon and the full moon like the tides. It comes way up, it intensifies, and then it goes back out. And it comes way up, and then it goes back out. All right. So let's move on to the Mars, because these are all things that are happening with full moon. So this is, again, Mars, just keep in the back of mind, Mars retrograde is not happening until October 31st, but the important thing in September is that it is beginning to slow down and it is interacting. So when Mars comes into play, we have to sort of look at, Mars is more of a, it's a cautious planet. It's like takes its time. It's adaptation. It's about flexibility. It's about things that you're wanting to get started, those kind of things. However, you've got to understand that during this Mars retrograde, I gotta hear this tickling me. During this Mars retrograde, is that you can start things. However, just remember it's not a good time to finish them. It's to say, okay, I've got this project, I got this thing, I've got this relationship, I got this job. I really want to get into it. Keep working on it through this Mars retrograde, but know that um, it's going to take time. Just put it that way. You can start it and get all excited about it, but it takes time. So it has really good intentions, but we've got to be really, really careful because Mars is going to be moving through Gemini. Okay. And when that happens, it's going to feel like you're spinning your wheels. It's like you want to go faster, but the spinning wheel in Gemini is going to say slow down. Slow down. You got time. Relax. Think through this because, again, we're in Mercury retrograde. Think through this. Think what you really want to do. Is it realistic? Is it something I can move forward with? Is this something I can grow with? Is this something that I can help others in? Is this something that I really should be doing? Is this relationship really what I should be doing? Is this job really what I should be doing? This again is that Mars action that is doing that. Okay. Mars is about, here's the thing. Okay. So Mars in Gemini versus Mars in Virgo, because remember, we've got moving Virgo into Gemini for the Mars. Okay. And what happens then is Mars is about all connecting the dots. Remember, I talked to you guys about, life is about connecting your journey. Your journey is about connecting the dots. And you're like, why am I doing this? What am I in this relationship for? Why am I got this job? Why is this going on? Remember, and I say, pay attention to the dots. Okay. So Gemini likes to connect those dots. However, and it likes to connect those dots. I'll back it up. It likes to connect those dots, whether it's good or not. Keep that in mind. Remember, Gemini is about connecting the dots. These are talking about the planets. This is Mars. But when you move into Virgo, Virgo likes to be analytical and connect the dots, but it needs to be something useful and purposeful. So those are the things that we have to look at because Mercury's home sign is Virgo, and we're moving into, or the Virgo, Mercury's moving into Virgo, but we want to make sure that we're connecting those dots with tools that are useful to us, not that are a waste of time, which Gemini doesn't care. It just wants to connect the dots. It's sort of like one of those pictures as a kid that you draw and you connect the dots. If you go on that picture and you just start connecting the dots, and it's not going to make a picture, so it's useless. What is this thing? Right? But if you go and you connect the dots as a Virgo thinking, that's me, then you're going to connect and it's like, oh, wow, this is a doggy or this is whatever. Okay. So this is something that you really want to pay attention to. How are you connecting the dots? What are you thinking of? You're going to have to be really mindful the rest of September and October on how you're going to move forward. Is this positive for my life? Is this productive for my life? Is this connecting the dots in a manner I want to keep moving forward? Or is it actually putting me behind? And then we go back to the past. We're thinking of the past. We're putting everything in the past. And you're carrying that dag-burned past cart forward. And the horse is sitting there like, really, seriously, I'm back here. You're putting the cart before the horse. Anyway, me and my horses. So definitely want to sort of think about that. Now the moon does move into Pisces on the 10th at 2:59 a.m., which is Pacific Standard Time here in the United States where I am. And then Venus also moves into Virgo, same day. Excuse me, not same day, on the 4th. Okay. So that moved in a little bit early. Okay. And the one thing about full moons, you guys, is full moons are about dreaming, about thinking a fantasy, or I would really like, why am I having dreams about The Rock? Dwayne Johnson. Seriously, dude, I'll never meet the guy. Why am I dreaming? Because I've probably watched a movie about him lately or something. But the thing is, your dreams. And the dreams are not reality. Dreams are illusion, but also dreams can have your answers. But that's all I'm going to say about that. However, really pay attention to that. On the 9th, when right before the full moon, also we've got Mars sesquincing it was squaring with Pluto. And that's the realization to redirect your energy. So on the 9th, right before that full moon. Now, these full moon energies, I usually tell you in your readings, or whenever, to pay attention to the energies 3 days before and about 3 days after. This full moon is going to be a little bit different because a lot of the energies are going to be after, up to, they're going to be revving up to about 6 days after. So it'll come in sort of like a calm, and it'll gradually, and about the 6th day after, 5th or 6th day after, it's going to just power in. Okay, so those energies of that Mercury retrograde and the full moon in Pisces. So your mind's going to be just sort of like push me, pull me, frustrated. And like, if you're not patient, you will be frustrated. Yeah, otherwise, you'll be hanging in there. And if you just got to be patient and wait. Okay. We also have a conjunction with Neptune on the 10th. So we've got the full moon, we've got the sun in Pisces, we've got the conjunction with Neptune. And that again reinforces the energy of what is happening with this full moon. Okay. So you want to really pay attention to, again, your emotional feelings on the 10th, your spiritual feelings on the 10th, this fantasy and illusion, because now not only are we in with Neptune, we're with Mercury retrograde, we're with Venus in Virgo, all this kind of stuff. So you really want to pay attention to that. And again, we're sextiling with Uranus. So what does that mean? You've got a breakthrough. It's for some of you, it's going to be like a breakthrough, an aha moment. And it's going to be like you have this feeling of being really full of potential. Like, I got this idea, or I got this relationship, or you think, oh wow, they really like me, I'm going to have a really good relationship with this person. You've got that. It's like a balloon getting bigger and bigger and bigger. When you're blowing it up, get bigger and bigger, and that's where you're at. You're sort of like this full exciting feeling. That's the breakthrough. That's the full moon. But then you got Mercury retrograde in there, and then you also have Venus in there with Virgo, and then you also have what's the other one? I completely forgot already. Mars and Pluto. Okay. Then around the 11th, the sun does trine with Uranus. So you again, this whole thing up through this month of September is like you're making momentum, and then it's like, am I really making momentum? It's sort of like you're on this spinning wheel, and then you're just not going as fast as you want to. Even though you are moving forward, it's just not at the speed that you want it to. Okay, so if you're beginning to feel frustrated, ask yourself why. Are you impatient, or do you have the patience to wait? Okay, because if you have the patience to wait through, especially through October, again, October 30th, when this Mars retrograde happens, and you got to remember, let's see, how long is this Mercury retrograde going to happen for this time? Where did I go? Where am I here? I didn't write it down, of course. Anyway, if you know when the Mercury retrograde ends, let me know. I just didn't write it down. It's usually like a month or 2 months, could be 3 months. Just depends on the what's going on with the moon and the planets out there. All right. So we're going to go ahead and go into a reading. This is for all signs. And this is basically going to tell you what is sort of happening currently. We're before the full moon. Then will happen during the week of the full moon and those 6 days. And then we'll go forward into October. Okay, so I'll do 3 oracles. One is Divine's always. He always gives us a message from beyond. And then sometimes ancestors come through, other people come through. But I try to go to Divine for those that are brand new watching my show, or my YouTube, whatever it is called. And then we'll go into the current energies and the future energies with the 3 oracles. Then we'll do a spread. Okay. And for those of you that don't have or never watched my channel before, after this, I've got a full day today. However, I am going to do some daily readings. They will be recorded, so you need to subscribe or share or like, but subscribe to get these daily readings, because I do notify everybody, especially if it's your sign. So that's the only way you'll know that they're on there, because I'm a small channel. I get lost in the sea of tarot readers. So if you don't subscribe, then you probably won't see me. Alrighty. And you know what? It isn't about how many people I have. It's about the people that I can help, pretty much, because mine's a healing tarot. This is not a, am I going to fall in love next week? Some people don't have love for a while, even though I'm an empath and intuitive and I can see some things in the future. I don't share those because it's your energies and your power that can change that, even if I told you, kind of a thing, because it all just depends on where your energy's at, where your thought process, and where your spirit is at. All right, definitely. Woo! I can't even shuffle. I never can shuffle, right? I get all excited. What can I say? So, but I do miss you guys. I really, really do. I love my people out there, and thank you for those people that are texting me, sending me. Well, I don't put it this way. I give my phone number to people if they really want healing, or you can get my information on my website. But I have been getting a lot of emails, and for those of you, thank you for thinking that I can help you, but it is actually divine that's helping you, not me, because he gives me the education and the wisdom. So I'm drinking coffee, and for some reason it's not settling with my stomach today, so I'm burping a lot. All right, here we go, you guys. So you got the 3 oracles out. Divine's card is, well, things are pretty unstable. Somebody's frustrated. I don't know what you're frustrated in. However, you're looking in the wrong place. So the divine is saying that you need to be reaching out to your higher power. So some of you guys believe in the universe. Some of you guys believe in different things. Some of you go to your angels first, whatever it is. However, there is an energy source out there. I call it divine God. And you go to that power because that is the all-knowing. I mean, we know nothing. Really, we really don't. But the reason why I say that it's you're not sure, or you're looking in the wrong place for your answers, is because it's the number 5 in numerology. So it's not a stable number. It's a fluctuating number. It's a number that is not stable. It's a number where, like, oh yeah. So it's sort of like, let me give you a hypothetical. You're asking your friends. You're asking a single friend for marital advice. Wrong. Wrong. So the thing is, and I'm also asking a single friend who can't seem to keep a date. Wrong. You need to ask somebody who's successful in dating, who got married and all that kind of stuff. So it's just a hypothetical. So this is something, that's why it's unstable, is where are you getting your information from? Here we go with the Mercury retrograde energy. Here we go with that full moon in Pisces energy. Dreaming kind of a thing. So where are you getting your information from? Divine is saying, come to me. Okay. Divine is saying, come to me. Listen to your spirit. Listen to your intuition. What is that telling you to do, not do? And are you going against it? Is your flesh going against it? Your flesh is the world. If you hear me talk about world thinking, that's your flesh. That's this thing. You're thinking here first, which is the wrong way to think. You think from your heart first, then your head, not from your head to your heart, because then we have a whole mess, right? Okay, so and then the full moon energy for this week, around the full moon, I'm going to say from the full moon to the 6th, about 9th, 10th, and on there, thoughts, words, and intellectual analysis. What was I talking about? There's a lot of Virgo in here. There's a lot of Virgo being moved around with, with Venus and Neptune, and then Mars. But also, too, we're going in from Virgo to Libra. What is it? Virgo to Libra, back and forth, that pendulum thing. Really have to pay attention to the analysis and which way it's taking you, because in numerology, it's the number 2. Okay. So this is about bringing things together and moving forward. Okay. So your thoughts, your words, your actions, and things of that nature. Thank you. So make sure that your actions are meeting your words. Don't promise unless you know you're going to be able to make it happen, or don't say anything at all. I don't know who that's for, but do not promise something if you cannot deliver the promise. Does that make sense? Because somebody out there is promising, and they don't deliver, and it's really hurting the other person. So I used to be my old self used to be that way. My old self used to be one to promise. And my daughter brings it up to me all the time because my daughter is the one that I broke the promises to. Even though my intentions were good, they were not good because I broke my promise. I don't know who this is for. But your thoughts are great, but leave them there unless you can actually act on them. So your words, if you're going to say something, make sure that you can act on them. Again, this is the number 2 in numerology. This is the full moon energy. This is that Mercury retrograde energy that says, be careful how you communicate. Ding! Okay. So for the rest of the month, again, and October, because we're going to be moving into that Mars retrograde, which is extremely, extremely important. That energy is about transformation. I love that word. That's why my new channel, which I haven't really done much with, is called Transformation by Divine, because everything I do is on here or Get Balanced 2020. But I love that name, and I love transformation because it is turning into something beautiful. You can go the other way, but if you're in spirit, you'll turn into something beautiful. However, it is about your intuition and patience. What did I tell you? I can't make this up. This is the number 4, to bring balance, to bring stability, to bring fairness. That does talk about that. We want to be fair. We want to be understanding. We don't want to judge something or someone unfairly. Okay. But what was I talking about before? Okay. This is about patience. This is about where that spinning wheel seems to be going, you think it's going faster, it should go faster, but it isn't. Okay, this is where we need to really slow down and think. Okay. All right, let's get into a reading and see what's going on for all you signs around this full moon, around the Mercury retrograde. And I'm focusing on those. There's a lot of things going on, but these 3 things are really huge through the end of October, guys. We had Neptune in retrograde too, but it's not making a bunch of noise right now. But it's not making a bunch of noise right now. What is making a bunch of noise is definitely Mercury and Mars and the moon. You got to remember that the sun is opposite of the moon too when this happens. And we're going to be going into fall solstice. I don't know what's going on with me. I got to go to the doctor because my words are not. I'm wondering if I had like a mini stroke or something. Like I can't seem to get my words and thoughts together. Or maybe I'm just getting too much frequencies from the other dimensions. I don't know. Anyway, we're going to see what's going on here. Oh, dear. Okay. Thank you. So there's a lot of miscommunication around a relationship. Definitely. Definitely. If you can notice behind me, if you watch my channel, I did change my office or I changed my shop around. I'm trying to actually move my office out to my shop, which try to do that in a single car garage when you're used to 1,500 square feet. So, but I want my daughter to have an art room, an art studio. And so I'm giving up my office. So, all right. So again, we're trying to get stable. We're trying to, this future energy into October is trying to get stable, is trying to listen to your intuition, trying to listen to your spiritual side, because it starts out on your reading with the number 4. Okay, so things are not stable because we started out with the number 5, divine saying it's not. And the reason why is you're overthinking. You're being too much in your flesh. You're being too much from here. Again, you're thinking from your head rather than your spirit. If you start from your spirit, you will have common peace because you'll say, you know what, it doesn't matter. Worldly things really do not matter. What matters are the things that you cannot see, which is like love, compassion, kindness. You cannot see them, but you could do and act on them. So somebody's thinking way too much and they're not looking at where they should be for their answers. Again, authority, looking to the wrong authority. And this is where you're going. Remember in the very beginning, I said, before I even pulled the cards, is that you're talking to worldly, we're talking to too much worldly thinking. And this is going to create a problem because find this interesting because it's not helping you 100%. I mean, it might help you a little bit, but you're dealing with pain. You're dealing with possibly a relationship issue. You're dealing with um, definitely, thank you, heartache, definite heartache of some type. Some people could be losing their job. However, this isn't losing your job. There is some pentacles in here. It could have had to do like somebody betrayed you with money or whatever. Somebody was using you because we have the Five of Swords in here. They could have been using you. This is a learning thing. This is definitely a learning thing because in the center of your reading, you have the Three of Pentacles. This is about your journey in who you trust and how you're going to move forward with that. Again, this is where your intuition comes in. This is where you got to be careful with your thoughts and your words. This is where you got to be careful with how, again, to think about how you're going to say things. Mercury retrograde, Mars moving forward, but it may not move it forward in the way that you want it, but it is moving forward in the way that it needs to be. So divine is interacting in all of this, okay? It is about transforming and transformation. But we have the Knight of Swords. I find this interesting because we have the Emperor and the Knight of Swords. A lot of authority here, but the authority for the Knight of Swords is about truth. This is about where the truth is coming from, where the truth is going, where if you're being truthful, because a lot of the times we tell people or are afraid to tell people really what we need to say. And we sort of fall short of that when it would probably help the situation. So if you really like somebody, or I'm going to do it hypothetical. If you really like somebody and they like you, and it's like who's that first person to say I love you? Because that could change it to a whole different level, a whole different trajectory. Will it move it backwards and say, "Ooh, wow, I've had that happen where I said I love you, but it was a different kind of love. They thought I was talking about romantic love. I was talking about, hey, thank you for, supporting me. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for being there. I love you." And because it was the opposite sex, then it was basically, oh my God, she said those three words. So it's again the perspective of where you're at. That's a worldly perspective. Oh, say if somebody was spiritual, they would say, oh, well, thank you. I love you too. Because there's different, again, levels of love, right? So this is the truth is what's coming out. What do you need to say in love? And you can say, you don't look that great in that dress. I like you in this dress because you're doing, what, it could be better. That dress, makes you really hot kind of a thing or whatever. You're not putting them down. You're doing it in love, saying, you know what, if you want to feel better about yourself and you like this dress, then that's great. Those kind of things. But sometimes pride gets in the way. Whose ego is getting in the way of actually being their truthful self? This is the number 5 again. Here we got 5 twice, guys. And we got 4 twice. This is something to really be paying attention to. We got the number 3 of 3 twice. What does 3 mean? 3 means to be acknowledging that maybe you could be doing things a little bit differently to better your life, could be doing things a little bit more in the communication field to maybe be more affirming rather than the like constructive criticism versus destructive criticism, that kind of a thing. Thank you. So he's saying sarcastic is not a positive thing. This is not me, is what he's saying. This is not sarcastic. Joking is hurtful. I don't know who that's for. So maybe somebody thinks that they're being funny when they're sarcastic. It's not, because people perceive it in 2 different ways. And if you're trying to be sarcastic and funny to somebody and they've gone through trauma and PTSD, it's more hurtful. So be mindful if you're one of those who do sarcastic joking. Most of the time it is not funny. And if it is funny, it's hurting somebody. So there's always some truth to a joke. A lot of people don't believe in that, but try to tell a joke and then you try to tell the joke and not have some truth in it. Usually there's, some truth in it. Here's your challenge card, guys, for the rest of September and October. Again, Virgo energy. I can't make this up. This is the Hermit. Virgo energy. Virgo energy is about analyzing. It's the number 9, putting this into the forefront. This is paying attention to everything, asking yourself the 5 W's: what, where, when, why, and who, before I say or do. Okay, that's just sort of where that comes from. Okay, so, but that's your challenge card. Some people are not patient. A lot of Virgos are not patient. You have to learn patience. This again is that future energy to transform. I can't make this up. Okay. Patience, patience. Yes, sometimes you have to go alone and think about things before you do them. The hermit is about being alone to while he processes and thinks, and that's how he transforms. Okay. But if you notice, he's holding up a lantern and he's looking down. He's paying attention to the whole picture, not just part of the picture. Again, okay, this is that Mars energy. This is that not so much in Mercury, but this is definitely that Mars energy. Is it going fast enough? Is it not going fast enough? Remember, through this whole month of October, it's not going to finish. It's the whole idea to get the train moving. If the train's got, say, 100 cars behind it, it's going to start slower, and then it's going to ramp up speed, and then it's going to begin to go, and it's going to be move forward. This is sort of the energy of the month. Okay, and then it may have to go over a hill. Okay, so it's having to go slower. That's that spinning wheel, and then it'll catch up and go down again. So that's what's going on there. All right. Somebody prideful is in your life, or whatever. It has to do with work or home or relationship. That is ego. That is worldly. That is very dangerous because that's a me mentality. Okay. And so in this next, well, from the 8th, 9th to the 16th, be really mindful what you're saying and doing, and be mindful of your thoughts on that, because what you think, you begin to attract and you begin to do. So if you start thinking negatively, well, why do you do this? And why do you always do that? And why is this way? We have to do it this way. Well, do you ever think about me? No. So this is really not a spiritual energy. This is very much about the world, and not narcissistic, but also thinking about me first. What about me? What about me? What about me? No, it's like, what about you? Okay, you have to tell me what you want. Again, that Mercury energy, what you want, what you need to be happy. You cannot fulfill somebody, but you can make their life a little bit more happy. But the thing is, that's their job, to make themselves happy and joy filled. Okay, that's not your job. Your job is to be a partner, as a friend, or as a partner or lover, whatever you want to call it, husband, wife. Definitely, you need to have that energy for them. However, that's not your job to make that, make that for them, if that makes sense. Okay. All right. So getting a few little clarifications for this week between the 8th to the 16th. Yeah, it is going to take strength, guys. The reason why is your challenge card, Hermit. A lot of people don't like being alone. A lot of people don't like being in their own thoughts. This is where your homework lies. For those of you that are working on yourself, this is where your homework lies. You cannot do it around a group of people. You cannot begin to think, how am I going to better myself? What am I going to do? How am I going to do it? Or if you're in a lost space, because I keep hearing, I don't know where I am. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know. And then you can't figure that out unless you are in your own space, in a quiet place, in your mind quiet, so that you can listen to your spirit. Spirit already knows. Spirit already knows. And your spirit is soul. Your soul already knows. So it's going to take strength for you to do this, to go into, because your mind thought, you're thinking way too much in your head. I keep saying that. It's in your head. You've got to bring down to the spirit. You got to bring down to what you're thinking, because somebody is thinking too negative. Somebody's low vibrational, low frequency. They're thinking in the low side. If you have any doubt, if you're asking, well, why? That's very low vibrational, because if you believe in divine or a if you believe in God or any kind of creative source, that other than the universe is frequencies and mostly frequencies. The thing is that you will have your answers, and sometimes no answer is an answer. So if you don't hear anything, that's saying then don't act on it, don't do anything, or you're being tested to see how you will move forward. Okay, so a lot of things are that. And so then we have the Five of Pentacles. Somebody is definitely afraid of being alone or trying to do this alone. You don't have to be alone. You just have to have the right person on earth to be in there, because we're put here to help each other. But are we helping each other worldly, or are we helping each other spiritually? So for me, if you came to me, I would make you probably start thinking more spiritually, or not make you, but have you think more spiritually, because your answers are not here. Because this, when you pass on to the next dimension, doesn't matter. Because you can't take anything with you. The only thing you can take are your memories. The only thing you can take is love, compassion, kindness, and all that kind of stuff. And it doesn't matter. The negative and the low vibrational and everything does not matter on the, and neither does stuff, but it does matter. Thank you. He says it does matter how you treat others. This world is becoming very rude. This world is becoming very, you know what, I don't care. I can say what I want. I can say how I want it. Very entitled. It's not just the United States. It's just how people are treating other people. And he's like, you're treating each other poorly. Treat others as how you want to be treated. And we're going back to that old way of the way we started, back to the basics. How are we supposed to treat each other? With kindness, love, and respect. That's going out the window. It doesn't matter if you believe in a religion, a relationship, a divine, a world, whatever, or anything of that nature, spiritual. It doesn't matter. And I even had that happen to me this week. Well, again, here we go about communication. The Eight of Wands. Again, more communication. It's coming in fast. Somebody's getting pummeled with a bunch of stuff. Okay, be careful if it's fantasy reality. Better pay attention to, again, your thoughts and your words this couple of weeks, because a lot of the time we don't know if it's fact or fantasy. Get your ducks in a row to know. Do your research. Make sure that you're not getting it from other people. Thank you. He says there's so much gossip that is ruining people's lives that you really need to look at the facts. That's why Facebook is just riddled with fake and fantasy photos and sayings and putting this person's picture with this and that. It's all fantasy. A lot of it is fantasy. Really pay attention to what is the link that it's coming from. What is the IP address? What is, you can even look up pictures, when they were taken, where they were taken, who actually owns that picture, those kind of things. I guess that's getting into my criminology stuff, but you can look into those things to see if they're fake. If you're on a dating site, oh my God, there's so many fake profiles and people stealing other people's pictures to act like they're them. I don't get it. But this is, again, through this month with Mercury retrograde, the moon in Pisces, Mars coming in, really paying attention. Okay, but somebody definitely doesn't want to be alone, or somebody is alone. There's been heartache. There has been trauma. There has been something that caused them pain here in the last month or so. And they're trying to seek out the why. Okay, again, they're trying to seek out the why. And we're looking in the wrong. Sometimes we have to seek out the why and just know that the answer is already there, and you got to look in the mirror. Okay, I really don't want to do this, but he's saying, did you create your own, how do I put this? I have to be careful because I'm online. So did you create your own mess? Were your decisions the cause of why things are turning out the way that they're going to be? Okay. Are the things that you chose making things spiral down or spiral up? Those are things that you have to look at. This is that transformation and having patience with yourself. This is looking at your intuition. And I say this to you because I'm just like you. I used to be that way. And I made my own mess. I made my own demise. I made my own life spiral down. I don't know who that's for, but you're not looking at the truth and really paying attention, because sometimes If we're too prideful, we're too into our own self, we lose the truth, of ourselves. We aren't even honest to ourselves. We got to be honest. Again, there's that deep, deep, deep down look at ourselves. And are you being truly honest with yourself? Okay. I don't know who that's for. All right. So we're going to finish this up. Divine, if you want to give me some more information, either plot thoughts, please, or through the cards, or if you want to give me a signal of anything before we wrap this up, if there's anybody you want to touch, if there's anybody that you need. You keep saying, listen to me, I'm the higher power, listen to me, I'm the higher power. I'm like, okay, I know that. I personally know that. I'm getting goosebumps for somebody. Somebody just says, well, I want the answers. And somebody's going through, I keep seeing the spinning wheel. I see a hamster. I see a hamster in a wheel. And I see somebody's life just keep repeating the same things over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And you know what? It's going to keep doing that cycle. These things keep happening over. Why do I keep dating the same type of person? Why do I keep meeting bad guys? Why do I keep meeting these girls that are nuts? Why do I? It's because you're on that hamster wheel. You have to jump off and do a different mindset. So a lot of the times we are what we project what we are, and we get what we project. Does that even make sense? I don't even know where that came. I'll say it again. We sometimes get what we project and who we are. Okay. So if you're gone through a bunch of trauma, like my sexual abuse that I had when I was younger, I made wrong decisions and I expected people to love me just by going through sex. Wrong thinking, worldly thinking. That was brainwashed thinking. I needed to go into my spirit and say, you know what, that's wrong, because you are loved just because of who you are, and somebody will love you because of just who you are. So does that make sense? I don't know who that's for. Whew. He keeps bringing plot thoughts down. So sorry, guys. I don't mean to keep going on and on and on, but this is, I haven't done a reading for a while, so maybe there's a whole bunch of stuff that needs to come through. But let's get back to the summary of this. There is something you need to acknowledge, okay? There is something that you need to be careful in your thoughts and your words and how you say them for this next month until the new moon. There is something that you have to stop thinking so much from an earthly, a flesh thought, and say, you know what, I'm going to, this is the other thing too. Which was this? I've got to look back at my notes here. Sorry. You're going to have a problem if this, what is this planet here? Now, here we go. So when Mars comes in, if you are not flexible and if you cannot adapt to a situation, you're going to have issues, because we need to be more flexible, because that's where we learn to transform. If we're rigid and say that I'm right, or I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it, you don't have to make me do it, I don't have to do it. You know, if it's to progress us in a positive manner, to move us forward, you might have to readapt. This is that mindset. This is where that person is going to take strength to stop thinking so negatively. Okay, this is that Mercury energy that people think, oh, Mercury retrograde's all negative. No, it's not. It's how you think and perceive things and how you move forward with things. I could go on about Mercury retrograde, definitely. But here's that. All right, so I'm going to finalize this, Divine, okay? Somebody is going through a hurt process. Somebody is going through something that really hurt them. Somebody who is going through some type of loss, whether that be that you lost a loved one, that there's somebody around you. This is where it takes strength to come back and live in the world and move forward through your grief and your pain. I'll tell you, when my brother was murdered, it's still there. And he would be, let's see, he died when he was 26, and he would be in his 50s now. It just becomes less, but you know that they're around. Well, I do know that they're around, because I've had actually witnessed him being around. So him and my mom. So that definitely, just know that if that is a loss for you, they are around you. Their energies are around you. They are in a different dimension, but they can be anywhere. Definitely. Okay. So he's talking about a relationship here. There is a relationship here that does need some thought process. Again, you need to think about things that you're saying to each other, that they're kind and loving. And if you are yelling and screaming, or you're being calling each other, a mofo and a biatch and all those kind of things, you need to really maybe step back and learn how to communicate, because that is not a healthy relationship. That's probably a very toxic relationship. There's a couple of videos I have out there, one about energy vampires, one about effective communication, things of that nature. Again, with the Mercury retrograde, go watch the one with the effective communication. That's really huge. Definitely walking your authenticity. If you're in a relationship, you need to speak. Men and women, guys, now this is for both of you guys. If you're in a relationship and you need something, you have to share it, guys. You have to ask for it. Well, why should I ask for it? They should already know. That's that negative, low vibrational energy. No, they don't, because they can't read your mind. And everybody's love language is different. Got a video for love languages too. Go to Get Balanced 2020 and you'll see all those videos. The Get Balanced 2020 on YouTube. And that you will see that maybe your love language isn't the same. So you guys are just missing communication. If I would have known that years ago when I was married, I probably would never be divorced, because I was giving him my love language, and that definitely was not his love. Okay. So when you guys are in a relationship, it's definitely about communication. Where does the hurt come from? Because you're misunderstanding, or your perspective is different from each other. Okay. And you don't have the patience. Here we go with that Mars energy, having the patience again to ask what you need to ask. Really look through that. Pay attention to what your intuition is telling you. Is this the right time? Somebody, if you call somebody at work or text somebody at work, hey, I'm angry about this, that's the wrong timing to do it. Wrong way to do it. Texting is really a bad way to do it. But the thing is, you don't bring something that you need to discuss to somebody who's at work. If it's a yes no answer, answer it. Again, this is that Mercury retrograde energy of communication. When do I tell him? When do I need to ask him? When do I need to ask her? When do I need to tell her? Definitely not at work, not when she's getting ready to go to work, because now her whole mindset's going to change for work, or his mind's going to change for work. You don't do that. You have a time where you sit down and say, hey, you know what? I really am not feeling loved. I need to have more touching. I need to hear that you love me. I need to maybe have flowers. These are all different love languages. All right. I don't know why he's talking about this. I don't know what this is, but somebody's ego is in the way. Like, I don't have to. I don't need to. Why should I? Oh my gosh, who's this negative nanny? Holy Toledo. Yeah. And if you do, look at this. Beautiful. This is that transformation. Comes into a celebration, comes into a unity, it comes into balance, it comes into everything that you desired it wanted to be, because it is the number 4. So we went from the number 6 to the number 4. Okay. Again, we have 3 number 4s. So how you move forward in your life with your relationships, your career, anything you do, go to the higher power, because that's where your balance is going to be. That's where your peace is going to be. That's where your calmness is going to be. Because wherever your thoughts and your words, this is current energy through this next, until the 16th, this is where your thoughts and your words are going to be. And this is going to be really mindful. You can ruin a relationship with one sentence, or you can build a relationship with one sentence. It's all how it's said, how it was thought, and how it came out. Again, if you're starting from spirit, going to mind, you're going to do it out of love. If you're going to start here first, you could get it all kerfuffled. This is about a transformation, where and how you're thinking, and how you taking the time to then analyze what your purpose is, what you want, where you want to go in the future after October or whatever, because things are going to move slowly. They're going to move, but they're going to move slowly. So really think about these next couple of weeks before the new moon, and we'll probably have a new energy with this new moon and the retrograde coming up in October. But we're going to be in the Mercury retrograde. So we are going to be in the heat of it coming with the new moon. Really think about where you want to be, guys, by the end of the year. What is your goal? What do you want to focus in on? Where do you want to be? Don't think with your head. Think with your heart, think with your intuition, think with your spirit. All right? This is going to be an intense full moon. You're going to have to really think, really keep moving forward. Stop bringing that cart of crap with you, all those heavy baggages of the past, and you're carrying them with you, because when you get to your vacation spot, you have no place for them. You don't need them anymore. You just want to carry something light with you. You're going to always have some thoughts and memories and things like that, but you want to move forward lightly, because when you move forward lightly, you move in a high vibration, because you no longer carry that. Oh, I see, really, I see a cesspool. All I see is a dark, it's like a swamp. You bring that dead swamp with you, and it's nasty, it's stinky, it doesn't belong in. So move forward in where you need to with a high vibration, asking divine where you want me to go, what you want me to do, how do you want me to move. Whether it be in your car, whether it be in literally a closet, if you have to get away, literally outside by yourself, literally wherever it's going to be, you cannot hear divine unless you're in a quiet spot. All right. Love you guys, and I'll look for more videos. I've got several days off coming before we go to Disney World again. Going to Disney World again. Maybe I can get a reading there. I keep trying on vacation, but then we get so busy we never get to. And the last time camping, my GoPro farted and didn't go, so I couldn't do it. So if you like this video, please subscribe. Like I said, I will be doing more videos again, but you won't see them unless you subscribe. I'm a small channel. I get lost in the sea of tarot readers. So subscribe, hit the bell. You'll be notified anytime I do a video. All right. I hope you walk in absolute truth and love, and have fun with this full moon. Just have. Take care, guys. Thank you, Felix. Yes, Disney again. But you know what? I need a vacation. It's been HE double toothpick. So I'm going through a spiritual battle just like you guys. So I'm definitely working on myself as well. I'm just like you guys. So take care. It's good to see you, Felix. I hope things are turning around for you, and keep in touch. Email me anytime. Take care, guys.